Is this TOEFL tip actually true? That templates in the TOEFL writing section will hurt your score? You might be surprised by the answer to this and 6 more popular tips or myths that I hear a lot about TOEFL. So make sure you stick around to hear these. We're going to talk about at least one for each section because you don't want to follow any bad advice. There is a bunch out there, including some of my old advice, believe it or not. So let's look at this first one. This is actually a myth. You are not penalized for using templates for the TOEFL writing, but you have to be careful. ETS does warn in their book about using long memorized sentences. So for example, templates are usually pretty short and simple. Like the template for writing task 2, there's just a couple words and phrases to use. But if you try to use something that's kind of long, like this sentence here, in my opinion, I believe both the students have been misinformed and do not completely understand the issue. This is a longer sentence. You can use it for almost any academic discussion question. If you use a long sentence like this that is very general, that can be used in a lot of different places, that might hurt your score. So templates are not a big deal as long as they're short and simple, but if you use longer memorized sections, then it might start hurting your score. Now this second myth, almost everybody believes, but it's totally false. And before I get to that, I want to give a shout out to tsdprep.com. If you need more TOEFL practice tests, practice questions, you can make a free account today. Just visit our website, tsdprep.com. So the second myth is that you need a native accent to get a high TOEFL speaking score. Now, in the words of ETS, if you look at their grading rubric, what they say is that your speech is clear. So you need to be clear. You don't need to sound like a native. You need to have clarity. This is also called intelligibility. So you might not be sure what this sounds like. So let's look at 2 examples. First example.
In my opinion, I would definitely prefer to work uh, at different jobs every 5 years. This is because of two reasons.
So she might have some issues with her speaking, but pronunciation is not one of them. She is clear and understandable, even though she has an accent. But this student,
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, and I would like to answer that question. I'm somebody who likes to switch up the jobs whenever I find a good opportunity, then I will move towards such opportunity.
so you might have understood what she's saying, but it is a little bit unclear at some points. So she might have an issue with pronunciation. It's not about accent, it's about clarity. Now, the third myth is that you must read the TOEFL reading passages first before you answer the questions. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that this is not true and that I recommend that you maybe skim or scan the passage, but for the most part, answer the questions and read at the same time. Usually, reading first is good advice because it helps you understand the questions better, but you simply do not have enough time on test day. So since you don't have enough time on test day, you have to read and answer the questions at the same time. Don't read the passage first because you'll probably run out of time. Now, you might have known that myth, but this next one for TOEFL reading is the biggest myth of all, and this is one that I am guilty of as well. And this is that TOEFL vocabulary lists is a great way to improve your score. This is a myth. I do not find lists of vocabulary questions very helpful, and most students don't either. It is good to have a list of words as a reference, as like, oh, these are words that are common in academic vocabulary, for example, so they're good to know for the test. But that doesn't mean that you should study lists of words to improve your vocabulary. Instead, the best way to improve your vocabulary is to read a lot, basically, to read easy and enjoyable things that have 1 or 2 words that you don't understand, and you learn the words in context, and then you try to use those words in speaking or in writing. That's the best process for learning vocabulary. Everybody wants more vocabulary, but just a list is not a great way to expand your vocabulary. Reading and practicing with writing out the vocabulary you learn is the best way to improve. Now, this next myth is also about vocabulary, but this is for the writing and speaking. and that is that you need complex vocabulary to score high in the speaking or writing. This is a myth. This is simply not true. Of course, part of your grade is vocabulary. You need to show a wide lexical knowledge, a lot of vocabulary to get a good score, but it doesn't have to be very complex. And you want to make sure you use vocabulary you're comfortable with. I actually made this mistake before. I used to teach people kind of complex vocabulary, and I stopped doing that as much because usually people don't use it very well and it sounds awkward. Let me show you an example of vocabulary that's too complex, that sounds awkward and hurts a student's score. This is from a writing sample here from some vocabulary I used to teach. So he said, in my esteemed estimation, teaching STEM courses should be done without necessarily casting shadow of a doubt on liberal arts or any other magnificent courses because it would put damper on our future job prospect. So I understand what he's trying to say and what he's trying to do, but it just doesn't make sense here and it sounds awkward. Here's the sentence rewritten in simpler vocabulary that can still score high for the writing section. In my opinion, I believe that STEM courses should not replace or reduce the number of liberal arts classes because it would negatively impact future job opportunities. So you see here, still pretty simple, straightforward, and I understand everything that's being written. Make sure you do that as well. You can check out our TOEFL Writing 24 Plus guide that gives templates for all the writing and includes some different phrases that you can use as well, but nothing too complicated or too complex. And so you can get that. I'll put a link in the description below. Now this next myth is actually something I give advice to students a lot. I tell students to do this a lot, and it's gotten mixed results. And that is that you need to speak faster to get a higher TOEFL speaking score. Now, this is a mix of myth and truth because this is actually true. And actually, John Healy, the owner of My Speaking Score, a website that uses ETS's speaking software that they use to grade your speaking, has said that consistently, people who speak over 155 words per minute score higher than a 26 on the platform. But there's a problem, is that if you speak too fast and I don't understand, it's not clear, then it'll hurt your score. So while speaking speed is an issue, you also have to speak with clarity at the same time. So you need to find a balance between speed and clarity to ensure that speaking speed actually helps you improve your score. And I want to show you an example of a student where he's speaking fast, but it's going to hurt his score because he's not clear. So I want you to have an example of this so you can hear it.
I would prefer to switch jobs for every 5 years because switching a job for every 5 years gives me more confidence and I can easily able to communicate with a lot of people. And also I can easily able to upgrade my technological skills. If I'm sitting in a one job for my entire lifetime, I can't able to learn new things.
So as you can hear, it's hard to understand her because she's speaking so fast. So make sure that you want to try to speak faster, but that you're clear at the same time. Now, this last myth, I have to admit that a student called me out. He said, no, you're not right. You don't have to do this. And he was right, and I'll show you what that is right now. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying this content so far. I'd really appreciate it. And also check out tstprep.com for more free TOEFL practice. But this last myth is that you have to take notes in the TOEFL listening section. This is a mix. I'm going to say it's not really a myth necessarily, but I had a student that I used to say all the time, you must take notes in the TOEFL listening. You just can't score high without taking good notes. And he challenged me. He said, I'm gonna do a practice with you right now. I'm not gonna take any notes and I'm gonna get a perfect score. And he did. So I guess not everybody has to take notes, but most of you should be taking notes because you're gonna be listening to a conversation or a lecture for 5 minutes straight. That's a long time to listen. That's a lot of information in 5 minutes. So since that's so much information, it's going to be hard to remember all that information when you see the questions. So notes are there to help you remember. They're also to help you focus while you're listening. They give you something to do. If you're just listening and just kind of staring for 5 minutes on the walls, it'll be harder to focus and maintain your focus. So at least taking notes will give you a way to actively listen and think about what you need to write down. But let me ask you, are there any other TOEFL myths that I missed or that you would like some advice on, that you think you're not sure if it's true or not? Let me know in the comments below. I try to answer all of them. But thank you for watching. I hope you had fun doing this one. I actually had a lot of fun making this. So thank you, and I hope to hear your comments and respond to them, and I'll see you in the next one.